Army and police forces, but the Karzai government, by anyone's estimation, remains a very weak government. You've said earlier much of Afghanistan is ungoverned still. Having a weak government and a strong military frequently leads to unhappy results in many parts of the world. We've also had, at best, mixed success in trying to build a military as a unifying national institution in nations that don't have a strong national identity. We tried to do that in Iraq, and it appeared that we effectively armed and equipped every side in the sectarian civil war. The video, the cell phone video of the execution of Saddam Hussein and the taunting by the Shia military, but obviously also members of the Shia militia that was more loyal to McChrystal al-Assad, did us great damage. Created the impression that that was a sectarian revenge killing, not the execution of justice in a society with a legitimate rule of law. What is the desertion rate now? Where are those folks going? How are we going to make sure that the military we build is not going to dominate the government? And how are we making sure that we are not training and equipping the forces that will be fighting for warlords in a short time?
I think that's it's important that I start with the fact that one of the things Afghans fear most is militias and warlords. There will be security forces that form in Afghanistan, whether we form them or not. They will form in their own defense, and I think that it's important we form a national army and national police capacity or recognize legitimate defense security apparatus, or the vacuum will be filled by exactly what the Afghans fear, which is a return to strong militias that in many cases are ethnically based and rose with the departure of the Soviets. I think that there is an absolute national identity in Afghanistan. They don't expect the same things from their central government that many other Western nations do. They expect less, but they do have an absolute sense of being Afghans before they are any other ethnic or local identity. They take huge pride in the Afghan National Army. Even though it is still a developing entity, they would like to be secured. And when I talk to Afghan elders, they thank us for being there, and then they always say, we'd like to be secured by the Afghan National Army, we're proud of them, but we will welcome you just until they're strong enough to do it. So I think that rather than being a threat to the government of Afghanistan, I think it's a major source of credibility as they go forward. Now, clearly, it has to stay under civilian control, and I've seen no indications that that is not likely to be the situation. I'd ask Ambassador Eikenberry to jump in.
Thanks, Congressman. My views are the same as General McChrystal on this. The Afghan National Army, it was established on first principles of being all ethnic and all national, and indeed it is. It is a sign of, it is a symbol of pride for the Afghan people. It's a sign of hope that this country, after 30 years of warfare and fighting, can come together. The Afghan National Army is a manifestation of that. Secondly, the principles upon which the Afghan National Army were established were good principles inspired by us, and that was that this military would be under civilian control. It would respect the rule of law, respect the people. I believe very much that those principles are still in place.
What is the desertion rate? I've heard it's 25%. What is the desertion rate?
Congressman, I'll get you that for the record. It's not that high. One of the things about desertion is many of the young Afghans who enlist in the Army go home because there's not yet a good leave policy established. There's also, we're still working through issues of how they are paid. Electronic pay is clearly the wave of the future, but in many cases, they go home to take pay or to see family, great sense of family there. So it's something, and a significant percentage come back. So it is a significant problem. I don't want you to believe that it's not, but it's something that it's less clear than it might be in another army.
Okay. I'll take the cue from my colleagues and yield back to curry favor with the chairman.
I thank the gentleman.